This is Governor Lieutenant Vash. There is an enemy fleet coming out of the gate. There are insurrectionists in every and we can't hold them up for long. Anyone who receives this should fall back to the Citadel Ordinaris immediately. Emperor, save us!
And greetings all. So how has everybody? Hold on a second. I am running monitor and output so I can hear myself. Eee. Okay. So how is everybody? Let me start off with this. Fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that otherwise be infringing. In addition, YouTube indemnifies creators whose fair use videos have been subject to takedown notices for up to $1 million of legal costs in the event the takedown results in a copyright infringement lawsuit. That's from Google. Okay. The disclaimer that you see scrolling across the bottom will run the entire video just to make it rather obvious as to what's going on here. Okay. So, there's this gentleman called THEREALPAX. He is notorious for running very, very long astronomy live streams. His channel was initially suggested to me by YouTube. I looked into it because, hey, it's an astronomy live stream. Why the hell not? Well, I immediately saw issues with his live streams. Doing a bit more research, I found a number of issues. Well, life got in the way. And, that happens. But recently, somebody suggested his channel during my daughter's astronomy live stream. So that brought it back to the forefront. Doing a little bit more research into the resulting live streams that he's putting out now, noticed that a few things were off. I tried to make comments in his live chat. But keywords like fake or anything calling him out or anything like that just seem to be blocked. I wonder why. I'm also blocked in the comments, so you can't call him out in comments either. That kind of sounds like every other typical grifter we debunkers deal with. Well, let's get on to the meaty center, shall we? So, with the long-running astronomy-related live streams, and I'm not quite sure if you can see it on the screen, but he has like 600,000 something subs, which is far more than a lot of proper astronomy channels. So, tons of subs, tons of views, tons of watch hours, and up until a couple months ago, he was monetized. So let's take a look, shall we? Here we go. We've got, live view from Earth that ran for 87 hours, live NASA probe, Sun's atmosphere that ran for 45 hours, live view of the comet. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I initially saw. That ran for 386 hours, and so on. And that's from his astronomy playlist. Many of those videos are a year old or older, while he was still monetized, and are no longer available. But they still show up in the playlist. Then there's this whole Beetlejuice thing that he's been running, since October 14th, 15th. Running forever. Yeah, hey, supernova, yeah, Beetlejuice is gonna explode. Yeah, I think not, because that countdown timer also resets about every 20 minutes. So let's see what he's up to now. Now, that could be a little larger, but they're that small for a reason. So the Ornid meteor shower has been running since October 16th, which is kind of hilarious. Seeing that, no, don't think so. Then there's the Leonid meteor shower. And as you see with my notations here, it loops every 6 minutes, 26 seconds, and I did this by frame counting. 6 minutes, 26 seconds is Leonid meteor shower live stream, which, by the way, what you see on the screen, yeah, that's actually his live streams right now. That is the same looping video, but it's flipped horizontally and is offset by a couple minutes. Let's just sit here and watch a little bit and see if we just happen to notice that, yeah, it is kind of looped. I don't have that much patience. So let's bring up the side-by-side, shall we? These are screen caps from his live stream today. Notice the time offset. And notice that is the exact same plane, jet, whatever, running through the screen. It's just flipped. Now, this was shot at, this screen cap was, supposedly while he was looking at the sky at 11:30. Northern Chimp says, I did see the word fake in his chat, but that was a few weeks ago. I was clickbaited by the James Webb hype. I've ignored him since. Yeah, since then, the word fake has been blocked. Looped has been blocked. A couple of other words have been blocked. Because I tried even last night to put in the word looped, and it didn't show up. But if I said hi, my comment showed up in chat, so. But as we can see, yes, it is the exact same image, just flipped. Now, about that point in the sky, which is actually kind of interesting when you think about it. Let's clear that out. Oh, by the way, the background is from my lunar eclipse live stream, all sky live stream. So I took the screen cap and cropped out the words and sent it over to astrometry.net and had them do a plate solve. So within a couple minutes or so, this is where he was supposedly pointing in the sky. And there we go. There's a nice little overlay showing it. And that was at 11:39 this morning. I don't know. Just curious, anybody in chat, when was the last time you saw the Milky Way and stars during the daytime? I'm just curious. I'd really like to know. So, again, there's the solved. Now let's double check this with stellarium. Yeah, that's current time compared to, side by side. So, yeah, the time is current. And that's pointed the right part of the sky, as we can see. However, there's one little problem here. Now, when I initially looked at this, I just based it off of the Milky Way band. So, based off the structure of the Milky Way band, I put it as his live stream is somewhere right around it here. And this was before I did the plate solve. So, as we can see, this is current time, current date, but that doesn't look right. Oh, yeah, hold on. I forgot to turn on the atmosphere. So, according to his live stream, he has the ability to see through the atmosphere and daylight. That's kind of suspicious. Well, that and the looping and horizontal flip. Now, this isn't the first time that he's done this. In looking at his playlist, there were a number of meteor live streams that ran forever and things like that. And it was the exact same thing. Run for weeks on end. And yet, the sun never comes up. It's always the same position of the sky. Always the same jets and meteors every couple minutes. But, yeah, what do I know about astronomy? Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at his, the Dogwalker says in chat, he's looking out of his mothership window. Well, it's going to get a little better than that. This is actually going to get kind of funny. So let's look at his Beetlejuice. Ooh, yeah. Oh, it's gonna explode. It's gonna explode. Now, taking a note as to the telescope that he's using, that he says he owns. Well, as far as the meteor loop, well, he'd need to launch a camera into space. As far as this here, shot during the daytime, yeah, he'd need to launch that telescope he claims to own into space. But let's take a look at exactly how much that telescope would cost. So here we go. So he has an APM LZOS telescope, a probe refractor with a 254mm aperture, which is 10 inches. That's an $80,000 telescope. Wow. Must be nice. An $80,000 telescope? Hell, I wish I had it. However, you can't just have just the telescope. You got to put it on a mount, right? Oh, a matched mount is about 42,000 pounds. So just the scope and the mount alone, he's claiming to have over $120,000 worth of astronomy gear that he owns. That's his. Nobody else's. That's his. Well, a scope that size would require that he have a facility the size of a small house. The scopes you see here, those are 10-inch refractors. They're massive. They're huge as far as a smaller refractor goes. In fact, the one you see here, I have personally looked through multiple times. It's a wonderful scope. Just, yeah. That's a lot of scope. But remember, he owns one. So, this must be real, because he owns this scope, right? Well, it gets a little bit more difficult because you run into this slight problem. So this is, on the left is Betelgeuse through the ESO's Very Large Telescope Unit 3. That's 8,400 millimeter aperture with a focal length of 14,000 millimeters. That's a focal ratio of f1.7, which is stupidly fast, with a Rayleigh limit of 0.02 arc seconds. It's a big scope. It's a really nice scope. Now, his alleged scope is much smaller. Instead of 8,200 millimeters, it's only 254, with a focal ratio of f8.6 and a much shorter focal length. And as far as the resolution, 0.54 arc seconds. Now, in order for him to pull this off, what he claims is his, he would need a 6x Barlow or a 600 time digital zoom. If he used a Barlow, basically like a tele-extender, he would be shooting at f53. That'd be kind of like putting welding glasses on and trying to see the sky. So he's supposedly shooting a star at 20 frames per second, which, by the way, I did a frame count. 20 frames per second at f53 with a scope that pulls in more detail than the Very Large Telescope, but is tiny in comparison. And the meteor showers and this Betelgeuse live stream are just two current examples, because he's actually running the Betelgeuse live stream now as well. Let's get a little bit more into the details. The light gathering difference between the two is about 1,000 to 1. Angular resolution, 2,600% difference. Aperture ratio, basically f-stop, is about 1,000 to 1 again. 972 to 1 to be exact. Now, his Betelgeuse livestream runs during daylight hours with no sun. So let's go back to Stellarium and find out. Okay. Wow. He has a telescope that can not only see Betelgeuse during the daytime, he can see it through the planet. Yeah, through the planet. God, this guy's an idiot. So, Dora Nuku in the chat says, a neutrino scope? That's a possibility. You never know. You never know. Oh, and by the way, if you can read the notation there in the center of the screen, pay real close attention to this spot. You will see a blip. You will see, when you see a blip, start counting. That blip will repeat every 34 seconds. Well, that's a short loop, so I don't know. Let's wait. Let wait for the blip and count. Come on. I know you can do it. Any second now. There you go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, I can count. 22, 23, 24. I'm going to stop counting because that's actually kind of boring. But yeah, that blip will pop back up here in a few seconds. And notice how, Betelgeuse is also moving and all. Meanwhile, the exposure for the Very Large Telescope was actually a long exposure to pull the detail that they did. But that blip is coming soon. Now, it's funny, as I went back in and I did frame check this. I did a frame by frame analysis of the videos. And yeah, all the stuff loops over and over again while claiming that it's all live. Yeah. I don't know, folks. Last time I checked, shooting live is not a loop. There you go. Let's go ahead and just close that out, shall we? Now, what I'm curious about is it's a loop that was live recorded. Yeah, well, the problem is that he doesn't actually state that. He runs it as, let's pull this up. Actually, a prime example is like this right here. Live streaming, and lists the current date and time. And that continuously runs over and over and over again. Meanwhile, the date and time do change. So he is, I do get your point. However, he is presenting this as being real-time, live, not a loop. And I didn't realize that that video had audio. Whoops. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I think I broke it. Check your sarcasm meter. Yeah. I think I broke it. So Dora asked, how is the Empress doing? Any better? Well, she still has a little cough. But she is having fun, drawing pictures and making up stories and playing video games and so on and so forth. So she's, for the most part, back to normal. Which is good. Because she goes back to school on Monday. Now, there's a couple points I'd like to make with regards to his channel. It must be nice that he was able to launch multiple space telescopes, able to afford multiple space telescopes, and be able to pull off these live streams, these 24/7 live streams that, of course aren't loops because you can't call them out on it being a loop, while, bringing astronomy to the people. Well, except for the fact that they are loops, and that pretty much everything I've called into question I've provided evidence for, which results in him being a grifter. Because up until about 2 months ago, he was making money off these views, off of fake content, knowingly misleading people while misrepresenting reality. And in fact, he openly admits that, well, not admits, I think he says it's otherwise. But on his own admission, YouTube demonetized him for using others' content. And that he's made claims that YouTube owes him tens of thousands of dollars in AdSense, which is kind of hilarious. But there's a slight problem. See, I do a little bit of research here and there, and I could take these side-by-sides, and assuming that the camera is level to the horizon, I could go through and essentially extrapolate what time of year this was shot in, a general location as to where it was shot from, then turn around and go and search all the meteor shower videos that have been put out that were released during that specific time period. So it's actually not that, it's a bit of extra work, but you could backtrace this and probably find the source video that he's using and notify the owner of the video. Because in looking in this, if any of you have owned cameras and stuff like that, played with like the Sony AS7s and the GH5s and stuff like that, this does look very similar to what you would expect with a Sony Alphas, one of the nicer Sony Alphas. So I might actually do that, nail it down. Good evening to you, Flo. How are you doing? I'm not quite sure how long this stream is going to run, but I would like to make it rather clear, again, should he so decide to try to hit me with a copyright strike for exposing his looping, forever running, there is no sun astronomy. And just, yeah, if he wants to hit me with a copyright claim, I say go ahead. So, because it then falls under fair use, and considering the amount of BS that's been exposed, he's gonna be kind of stuck because he would need to present the information with the proper copyright data, so on and so forth. I would fight it, go to court, and that would prove rather interesting. Now, I am tempted to be that guy by taking this live stream. Now, I have an old compute stick I can turn into a streaming server. Take this live stream when it's done, put it on a 24/7 loop on the compute stick streaming server with the same tags. In other words, essentially be that asshole Martian with a clue, with wielding a clue by four. Now, there's a couple comments I want to catch up on. Northern Chimp says, from Beetlejuice stream description, copyright THEREALPAX, all footage is fully mine. Nothing here is third party. Yeah, I mean, well, the Beetlejuice footage, let's see. That one right there, that could be faked with an LED. That could, if you know what you're doing, that could be faked with an LED. Now, as far as the claim that, of his scope and so on and so forth, I know for a fact that there's only a small handful of 10-inch scopes based on the time zone that he represents. I know that there's a very small number of 10-inch refractors in the Eastern time zone. As far as it being an Elzas, that's, I could probably do a little research and narrow that down. Because I've actually had some private conversations with Elzas regarding optics and stuff. So they could probably say, yeah, we got this many in the US kind of deal. So that's actually not that hard to tear down. And yeah, Doris says in the chat, he can make the claim and let it lapse. That's the usual MO of copyright trolls. True. However, I'll fight it. I'll definitely fight it. I would love to push it to where it goes to court. And Commander 401, the doctrine of clean hands, he can't go into court basically being proven a charlatan and expect a judge to do anything but throw the book at him for making false copyright claims because fair use. Yeah, that is a very good point. That is a very good point. So yeah, Northam, yeah, that what I had was a loop from a grab earlier of the Beetlejuice, the dates off and stuff like that. What I showed was not his current live stream. But yeah, if you go and look at it, it's the same thing. You can sit there and count it, that blip, and do the countdown, and it's still the same looping repeat. Dora's looking at a secondhand Meade 10-inch LX200. Must control myself and not do it. Ooh. Yeah, that would be hard. That would be hard. If the money was there and could pull it off, I wouldn't mind doing an LX200. Granted, I would want a proper observatory set up for it. I'd want a dome. Northern Chimp says it says 330 right now. Yeah, that's the one I was referring to. Aerosmith remake, big 10-inch telescope. Maybe you should call some people. Northern Chimp says, funny time to watch stars indeed. Yeah, especially considering that that it's daylight outside. I mean, that's... I don't know. I mean, maybe he has one of those magic filters that can see through daylight. If he does, I'm interested. In fact, he could just skip the copyright claim and just show what filter he used. That special super awesome filter that he has that allows him to do this, because there would be a couple Nobel Prizes in it for him. Not to mention every scope manufacturer and astronomer and observatory in the world would pay through the nose for such a filter. So he could charge whatever he wants. Now, I have all these windows open and all these tabs open, and this is driving me nuts. Okay. So, I don't know. Did I happen to miss anything, folks? I'm just curious because, sometimes I do miss things. It does happen. And if you have any questions, hey, feel free to ask me. And I will wait for the delay. Because there's a delay. But yeah, I didn't want this to be too long of a live stream. I mean, I could have put this out as a video, but this is more fun because I get to interact with you guys in chat. And especially considering all the fun I've had with you guys in chat. Ooh. Northern Chimp just asked one there. Oh, over on his live stream? Which live stream? The Beetlejuice or the one of the meteor shower ones? Because actually what's kind of funny is, let's see if I can bring it up. Is that whole like never ending live stream. Because he has a long list of them. And if you go through his astronomy playlist, most of the videos in there are no longer available. They still show up in the playlist. They won't play. And that's probably for getting hit for using other people's content. So Northern Chimp says the Beetlejuice live stream. Okay. Ian Debunk says, wait, he has multiple live streams of different things at the same time. Allegedly different things. For example, on the right-hand side is his 2 meteor shower live streams, which are running concurrently, one for the Leonids and one for the Orinids, and it's literally the exact same video, just flipped in time offset. So, alleged events. Which is actually kind of funny because with that, hold on, let me bring up Stellarium again and find out exactly, and show you exactly where. All right. Leonids are currently under the ground. Now let's just roll this time back and see exactly where they are. Okay. And atmosphere. Okay, so the Leonids are happening during the daytime. Again, him being able to shoot through sunlight. Let's go ahead and close that. Charlie says, I said Beetlejuice way more than 3 times. What a scam. Yeah, Beetlejuice didn't show up. Not here. Not on his live streams. I mean, it's all behind. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad about that. So Ian asks, so how many telescopes does he allegedly have then? Seems like the real number is 0. Yes. especially considering that he supposedly owns an $80,000 scope. I want to bring back up those other scopes. So yeah, so the scope in here, and I mentioned this earlier, I've actually looked through this exact scope. I looked at the trapezoid in Orion Nebula, as well as Saturn, Jupiter, and a couple of other targets. Beautiful scope, by the way. Beautiful scope. I want it. But I can't fit it in my backyard. Tor says, it is funny, his description has a link to become a channel member that doesn't work anymore. Yeah, because he was demonetized a couple months ago for using, other people's content. How strange. But he's on the up and up, yeah. Nothing suspicious here. Well, if that's it, I think I will go ahead and wrap this up. On that note, yeah, I think it's time to leave before I nuke this grifter from orbit, because one thing I hate is fake astronomy live streams. That it really does piss me off, because there are tons of people that go into the live chat on his faked live streams, asking where it is and, what kind of equipment is he using and stuff like that. And if you try to point out to these people that, no, it's fake, it's bullshit, it's a loop, the sun's freaking up right now, there's no way he could see this. Yeah, you end up getting, blocked, muted, so on and so forth. So, till next time, Dora says, enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Yes, everybody should enjoy the rest of their day. So, until next time, thanks to every one of those watching and everybody in chat. I love you guys in chat. And by the order of the Empress of Mars, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am out of here. And my ship has stalled. Ah! Later all.